You're watching Betting Weekly on the Bet Rivers Network.
How's that? Welcome back. It's the Bet Rivers Cricket Show with me, Ed Hawkins, pro cricket picker, and once again joined by former odds maker and cricket expert John Wright. How are you doing, John?
Not too bad, Ed. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. You're saying not too bad. We're rolling it, aren't we? Winner after winner last week, David Warner, Rajapaksa, the toss bias in the Asia Cup. We've got three games lined up for our followers this time. Have we got some good bets for them?
I hope so. It's the start of the CPL, isn't it? And say the Australia New Zimbabwe series is obviously Australia have won it, but there might be a couple of bets in that game.
That's right. John is spot on. The Caribbean Premier League is underway, so we've got a game to preview for that one. We've got Pakistan versus Hong Kong in the Asia Cup, which is a bit of a mismatch, but there might be some value there. Patriots versus Royals is the Caribbean Premier League preview, which takes place on Friday. And then we've got Australia versus Zimbabwe in the final ODI, a dead rubber, on Sunday. So let's kick off with Let's kick off with Pakistan versus Hong Kong Friday. Asia Cup, John, Sharjah. Hong Kong did okay against India as we record. They were pretty respectable effort against a strong India side. It was a huge mismatch. I mean, some bookmakers weren't even betting on it. Expecting Bet Rivers money line to have Hong Kong around about plus 1,300 for this one. It's at Sharjah. If Hong Kong bats second, do we back them to upset Pakistan, or were you not that impressed by their performance against India?
I thought to get beat by 40 runs, considering India got 190, I thought it was a good effort. They batted quite well, but I thought India bowled appallingly. I mean, two of India's World Cups, Arshdeep is definitely going to play in the World Cup, the left arm. I mean, he went for 40 runs in 4 overs. And Avesh Khan went for half a century in 4 overs. They were appalling, them two seamers. So I mean, they didn't bowl particularly well, India. But again, I mean, the lower order, middle to lower order of Hong Kong batted quite well, and there was a couple of played some quite nice innings there, quick 20 or 30, which probably in the top batsman market will probably win that market against Pakistan. So I was avidly watching that and seeing if anyone sort of stood out. And there was a couple of, especially the wicketkeeper. I like the wicketkeeper, Zishar Ali. He came in at 6 and he got quick 20 odd, and he looked quite accomplished. So there's probably a bit of value in there. A lot of the Hong Kong side originate from Pakistan, don't they? So that's quite an interesting factor.
Yeah, Pakistan hardly strangers to upsets. Not the most reliable team in the world. They're not their strongest either, we should point out. Shaheen Shah Afridi is not with them because of a knee injury, and they are hugely reliant on that top order of Babar, Rizwan and Fakhar Zaman, getting them off to a solid start to build a platform. And Hong Kong's bowling was very tight, actually, surprisingly so. I do think the wickets are helping.
Spinners,
the
especially. The spinners, especially. The Hong Kong spinners bowl very, very well, considering the quality of batting they were up against. And it wasn't until Sky came in at the end, didn't he, and got Virat Kohli going against the seam. They seemed to take the seamers apart, but the Hong Kong spinners bowled very, very tidily, considering India got 190.
Yeah. So, do you think we should risk Hong Kong at big prices if they bat second? Because we are aware of the toss bias in Sharjah as well. It does favour the chaser. It's not as strong as in Dubai. We were talking about that last week, but should we have a little bit of a nibble on Hong Kong here?
Well, I suppose that the price is a huge price. I mean, I still think Pakistan should win. My worry with Hong Kong, I think the way Naseem Shah bowled against India, I thought he bowled absolutely. It's one of the unbelievable opening spell, and he's probably unlucky not to get more wickets. I can see him probably ripping into that Hong Kong top order. But as I say, I mean, as you say, if Hong Kong are chasing, they could definitely be a bit of a value at the toss, maybe. But as I say, I think Pakistan will win. My worry with Pakistan at the moment is their middle order. The middle order didn't contribute at all, did they? And it wasn't till Haris Rauf and Dahani got some soft runs at the end of the innings, that they wouldn't have even posted 140, which is probably a pass score, Ed, against India. 147 was a pass score. They wouldn't have got anywhere near that if it wasn't for Dahani and for Harris Ralph, who put on those runs at the end of the innings. So the middle order was very disappointing. As you say, heavily reliant on the top four, Pakistan. And as I say, if that top four fails for some reason against the associate member team, Hong Kong, then you probably could potentially see an upset. But I think it's a big ask.
It is a big ask, but it is a big price.
Yeah, it's a big price, yeah.
Top run scorer money lines. You mentioned him earlier. Zishan Ali, 27 off 16 against India. Very impressive. Scott McKinchie as well. Quick runs. Haroon Arshad didn't get in, but has a very fearsome strike rate. So making note of those three names at big prices, we're looking at least plus 800 from Zishan, and getting bigger from there for McKinchie and then Haroon. So I think those are names and numbers to follow for Pakistan versus Hong Kong. Let's move it on to Patriots versus Royals on Friday. But just before we do give us a follow on YouTube or at Twitter, me at Cricket Betting, John Wright at John Wright 15, and the big account to follow at Because We Win, and winners coming out of their ears there on that account. The soccer guys are doing great business. Pluses all over the place with that one, aren't they, John? So do give at Because We Win a follow, and you will win, because it's all shrewd, sound advice and making sure you bet safely and with value. So Caribbean Premier League, Patriots versus Royals is on Friday. Money line expected to be -115 Patriots and Royals +148. Bit of team news, bit of business there for you. Patriots, Lewis, Fletcher, Brevis, Darren Brother, Rutherford, Pretorius, Dwayne Bravo, Drakes, Jagassar, Cottrell and Pittman. Royals, Mayers, de Kock coming in from the 100, Cornwall, Miller, who is already there, by the way, because I saw him, a picture of him on a plane on his way, Azam Khan, Thomas, that's Devon Thomas, Holder, Jason Greaves, Hayden Walsh Jr. and Ashani Thomas, the pace bowler. How do these teams line up? Patriots at the holders, Royals dreadful last season. Patriots should win this, shouldn't they, John?
They should do. Home advantage. They won it last year, although it was quite a tight competition, wasn't it, Ed? I think the four teams finished on the same number of points at the head of the table. Barbados were bottom of the table. I think Barbados, I mean, Jason Holder's captained them for the last 4 years, isn't he? And now David Miller's taken over. Yeah, I think they're going to be heavily reliant on him and Quinton de Kock at the top of the order. They've got Mayers as well, and I think they've acquired Rakeem Cornwall, haven't they, in their side? So I think they're going to have to rely heavily on that opening top four. I'm a bit concerned about David Miller as a captain. I mean, I think he's an absolutely unbelievable player. But I mean, they seem to like him. I mean, Trevor Penny, the coach, obviously thinks he's got qualities as a captain. I mean, even though he captained South Africa in team of performers was absence on the England tour, and I know he's quite sought after with the Gujarat Titans as well. So doesn't surprise me. But I mean, it does worry taking over a side that's probably struggling. They lost Glenn Phillips, didn't they? Glenn Phillips scored a lot of runs for them last year. He's
top
not
run scorer. Yeah, they've lost their two top run scorers. Yeah,
I do worry for them, and I imagine Majib's obviously playing in the Asia Cup. I don't know when he will come back for Barbados. I suppose he will come back towards the end of the tournament, when I believe the end of the tournament's played in Guyana, which suits spin. So that might be but it could be too late for Barbados. So yeah. I think the Patriots actually deserve to be favourites. I mean, Evan Lewis at this level, he scored a great load of runs last year, didn't he, Ed? I think he got 450 runs at an average of 50 with a strike rate of over 160. He seems to be a real bully in this competition. They've got Brevis there. They've got Bravo. You know, they've got Andre Fletcher opening the batting. They seem to be a lot stronger side. And as I say, they've probably got some better options with the ball as well, with Cottrell, and even Dwayne Bravo bowling at the death. I think I would definitely shade with the Patriots, especially being at home, Ed.
Yeah, at home, Warner Park. It is a very, very flat pitch. What it does, it suits Patriots lineup because they're batting heavy. They're not economical with the ball. They will take wickets, but they are not economical. They were about 5th or 6th on bowling ranking last season. But the CPL tends to be a tournament which is won by big batting power. And that's what the Patriots have got. So St. Lucia Kings, who they beat in the final, also have big batting power. Warner Park, as I said, very, very flat pitch. And because we've got 2 bowling units who could be pricey, keep in mind that there could be some big runs here. We've seen more than 200 notched, I think it's 4 times last season in 25 games. So that's quite a high ratio, unusually high, 4 in 25. So you're going to get big numbers on innings runs for more than 200, that's for sure. And as you said, John, Evan Lewis is a bully in this tournament, and quality players tend to bully opposition, don't they, in this tournament, because the talent pool isn't perhaps as deep as some other leagues. So if you're good, you really do stand out. Lewis probably plus 250 on your top run scorer money line for Patriots. Other prices as well to look out for. Lewis 22 plus 5. Those are his runs at around plus 100 with Bet Rivers. And another one, I think this is something you'll like, John, over 62.5, highest individual score, around about minus 118. Anything else which is standing out for you on Patriots v Royals?
No, I thought that possibly the two other markets that did appeal to me. I mean, if you think Evan Lewis is too short with the Patriots, I thought Shafane Rutherford was probably a bit of value. He scored a lot of runs last season. He'll probably come in about 4 or 5, won't he? But he's got a very, very high strike rate, and you'll probably get quite a decent price about him. So he'd probably be my second option for top Patriots run scorer. And I actually think if Barbados are going to be competitive this year, with Jason Holder not being captain, I think he's going to have to contribute both with bat and ball. So possibly a man of the match in the man of the match market, although he'd be near the top of the market, wouldn't he? He'd be one of the favourites. It might be worth having a bet, because in that Royals batting lineup, you'd expect him to contribute. I mean, he'll probably bat 5 or 6. He'll probably get runs in that side, and he'll bowl at the death and get wickets, won't he? So I thought probably Jason Holder in the man of the match market could represent a bit of value if you fancied Barbados to make a game of it.
Yeah, Jason Holder got a terrific win rate in the last couple of years across franchise leagues, winning top bowler. Probably be first or second favourite, I think. So that's not a mug bet by any stretch. Short odds, maybe sort of plus 300, plus 400. Keep an eye on Jason Holder's price on Bet Rivers, top wicket taker money line for your Royals. That's your Caribbean Premier League match getting a big tick. A little bit of housekeeping. At Because We Win, give it a follow if you want to win. Why not? John Wright at John Wright 15 on Twitter, me at Cricket Betting. And finally, our best picks from this week's show come at the end of the show, so keep those ears pinned back. Our best picks are coming up. We've got one more game to get through, though. We've got Australia versus Zimbabwe from Townsville. It's an ODI, so it's a 50-over game. Each side bats 50 overs. Well, Zimbabwe will certainly hope to bat 50 overs. They probably might not be good enough to do so. They're 2-0 down in the series. This one's on Saturday. Zimbabwe, again, we're looking around about plus 1,300. Any hope for them, John? Dead rubber. Australians, probably 20 years ago, we'd be talking about them taking their foot off the gas in a dead rubber, but those days have gone, have they?
Yeah, they probably have gone. I mean, the only thing I would say is Australia have got a lot they haven't played a lot of cricket, and they've got a lot of cricket coming up, a lot of white ball cricket coming up. After this series, they stay in North Queensland, where they play a 3-match T20 series against New Zealand. Then they play West Indies, they play England before the World Cup. So they've got a lot of cricket, and they play India. They actually go to India, don't they? So they're playing a lot of white ball cricket. So with the Series 1, I wouldn't surprise if they rested a seamer. Probably Hazelwood, because Hazelwood played in the IPL, less so Stark. So I wouldn't surprise if Sean Abbott would come in for one of those two. On the batting side, it's really interesting, Ed, because the person that's out of form at the moment is the skipper, isn't he? He's fouled in both innings. I think he got one yesterday, or when they bowled him out for 96, and I think he got 13 or 14 in the first game. So
yeah,
Aaron Finch. I mean, and Australia haven't got many other white ball options for opener, have they? I mean, you know, there's the few people that are out at the moment. Obviously, Mitchell Marsh is injured. You've got Travis Heads on paternity leave. You've got, and obviously on the bowling, you've got Pat Cummins to come back into this side. He'll play after the New Zealand series. But as regarding openers, they haven't got many opening options. So, and being the skipper as well, I would have thought that this last game, I can see probably Aaron Finch not choosing to field. So they probably want to bat because there's a lot of play. Well, he's definitely one player that needs a score. So I expect Australia to bat in this third game in even though it's a dead rubber, and I would suggest that someone like Aaron Finch needs runs.
Yeah, desperately so. Perennially out of form. I think Finch has gone, and we talk about succession planning, and Australia have really failed to plan. Josh Inglis is a guy who's been in and around the squads for a number of months now, but just not been given a run. And it may well affect their T20 chances in the World Cup in October, but that's a discussion for another time. We were quite keen on Sikandar Raza. We talked him up. Regis Chikabava as well for top Zimbabwe bat. They haven't copped in those first two. So I suggest looking at those two. Raza around about sort of plus 400 and Regis sort of about plus 600 for top Zimbabwe run scorer money line. They're guys to follow. Anyone else standing out for you? You can go in on Warner.
I suppose with Sean Williams coming back into the Zimbabwe side, I mean, he's a proper stalwart, isn't he? I think he's had a few personal issues. I think his father might have died. So he's come back into that side. He top scored with 29 in the game where they got bowled out for 96. And I think plus 350, he'd probably be the favourite.
Yeah.
And interestingly, in the first game when they got bowled out for 200, at one stage Zimbabwe, I think they're about 180 for 4. And Wesley, I forgot his name. Wesley, the guy that got 72 off 90 balls. He looked like he batted very well. So if you're looking for options against Raza, they'd be my two. Probably, Sean. I think Sean Williams is, if he's plus 350 or plus 400, that could present a bit of value, because if you look at his record, his ODI record for Zimbabwe, I think he's played about 150 games. I think he averages 35, and for a side that's sort of like perennially struggles, that's not a bad effort, and he scored hundreds. So maybe he could be the bet at plus 350, Ed, for top Zimbabwe batsman.
Okay, Australia versus Zimbabwe is done. Let's move on to our top picks from this episode of How's That, the Bet Rivers Cricket Show. John, you've got 2 picks to choose. What are your top 2 this time?
Well, I know you fancy Evan Lewis, and I think he's worthy favourite for top batsman for the Patriots, but I'm going to go for Shafane Rutherford, because I just think there might be a bit of value with him down the order. I think what price is he going to be, Ed? Roughly about plus 650.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus 650.
Yeah,
I would go with him just to oppose Evan Lewis. So I will go. He'll be my bet for top Patriots batsman in the game against the Royals. And in the Australia versus Zimbabwe game, I think that Hazelwood will probably be rested. It looks like Sean Abbott will come into the side. So I'm going to probably go with Cameron Green to be top bowler. I think he's plus 550, which I think's tremendous value considering he picked up 5 wickets in the first match. And hopefully they'll rest either Hazelwood or Stark, and he could be top wicket taker. So that'd be my 2 bets then.
Okay, my 2 bets are Sikandar Raza top run scorer for Zimbabwe in that Australia versus Zimbabwe game on the Saturday from Townsville. We're looking at around about sort of plus 450, maybe even plus 500 now. Williams is back in the side. And finally, I'm going to have a nibble on that Hong Kong price at plus 1300. That's our starting price, by the way. Could be even bigger than that. But the big caveat is that they have to be batting second against Pakistan in the Asia Cup. So that is your Bet Rivers Cricket Show, all done and dusted. Thanks for joining us. More top picks coming soon.